All right, everybody, what's up? I am doing a live podcast stream to talk about, Uber Eats pay statement, the annual summary, and just some ways that they figure out gross pay. It's super confusing, but you guys, we need to go through this. So I'm going to do this here on this. On the Rideshare Rodeo audio live, which I normally don't go live on this, on my platform, but it's super important. And, bear with me here, because we're just going to try and get through this. So, if you work Uber Eats or if you work any gig economy stuff, you're probably going to want to check this out, because, there's a couple people that I do stuff with who, we sometimes jump down, we deep dive into things. And, we knew that it's always weird, around tax time, but this is going to be an extra weird, tax time. So, okay, so let's just start. And we'll see how we can get this done. Hopefully this shows up on YouTube too, so that my YouTube listeners, subscribers can also benefit from this. You might have to do a little dissecting of your own here, but it's some seriously messed up accounting, guys. And we've talked about this in years past, but a few of us got together and we're talking yesterday and trying to break this down, because it makes no sense, but there's times it does. So let's just flow through this. And if anybody in the live audio stream right now wants to comment, please do. I'd love to have your input. You can enter it into the text field. And if you have something to say, just request to be added to the audio stream and I can bring you in. So, if you're in the live audio room, Gig Tank Live, Rideshare Rodeo, it's been a while since we've been in here, and I am working on getting this on YouTube as well. So here we go. So yesterday, we were figuring out how they calculate gross pay for Uber Eats. And again, a lot of these kind of follow the same thing. So if you see me looking off to the side, I'm just reading my notes here. And then on this computer, I have the audio stuff that I'm watching the users. So we'll see what this all does. So here it goes. So Uber Eats, if you audit your Uber Eats pay statement, your annual summary, here's how they calculate your gross pay. So it's going to sound a little weird, so bear with me. It's base pay plus incentives plus tip plus incentives again plus customer's fee minus base pay minus incentives. Okay, so that's one more time. Base pay plus incentives plus tip plus incentives again plus customer fee minus base pay minus incentives. Now, this is how they calculate your gross pay. It is some seriously just incorrect accounting, and hopefully we can roll through this a little bit. So you can get your customer fee in delivery details by clicking on more details. You guys probably know this, but I'm still going to roll through the basics in case you don't. So you can get your details by clicking on more details in customer fee and delivery. In this example, customers paid, we're going to use an example here of, we used 2 in the notes here, but we'll see. But basically, here's what's up. So in the first example, the customer paid $12.78 in delivery fees. Subtract the paid to Uber of $6.47, and you're left with $6.31. Add the fare and promotion equals $6.31. And this kind of sounds a little confusing. Just bear with me here. Because I'm looking at it in terms of a breakdown within the pay statement when you go to details. So essentially what Uber is saying is the customer paid me $6.31 plus my tip, and they paid Uber $6.47. But here's where it gets weird. If you already noticed, Uber's making more already, and we're barely out of the gate. But here's where it gets weird. When you pull up your monthly or annual summaries from the portal, you will see, well, you'll just see some things that might not make a lot of sense to you, but it's important you know this. So added up totals for base fees, trip supplements, boosts, surges, tips, then compared them to Uber's summary. The number actually added up, but it's weird. So let me give you an example. So base pay, $10.05. Trip supplement, $1.26. Surges, $3. No boost. Tips, $27.55. Customer paid delivery fees, $37.93. So $10.05, $1 plus $1.26 plus 3 plus $27.55 plus $37.93. Now minus the $10.05 minus the $1.26 minus the 3 equals $65.48. Incentives, trip supplement plus boosts equals $1.26. Total $66.74. Okay. On Uber's annual document, the gross trip earnings is what they report on 1099K. Additional earnings is what they report on 1099 NEC. If you got referral fees, those fees are added to the additional earnings. So they did this so that you can make it look like the customer is paying us directly, us, the delivery drivers, the Uber drivers. They came up with the gross trip earnings by adding up the entirety of the customer's delivery fees and the customer's tips. $37.93 plus $27.55 equals $65.48. Additional earnings equal boost plus trip supplement. Okay. Which is, by the way, Uber Eats using a 1099K for their reporting. They are claiming to be a third-party payment processor, thus saying that you are being paid directly by the customer. But when you dig into these details, the story just doesn't hold up. So what Uber is telling me here is the customer paid $37.93 in delivery fees, but they took out their cut of $24.88. In other words, Uber is keeping 66% of what the customer is supposedly paying me directly. So that's well and gone from, you know, the usual payment processor fee of like a 2.9%, okay? Obviously, 66% is way gone from a 2.9% processor fee. We wouldn't expect it to be 2.9 exactly. I'm just pointing that out. Here's where the math gets messy, okay? Going back to the trip details, if you added up the paid to Uber portion, that adds up to $23.62. But the service fee is $24.88. The difference is $126. The total of incentives. So, you know, the paid to Uber portion, since you're the one technically getting paid by the customer, even though it's going through the processing, that's why I use that processing fee of 2.9%. But technically, the money paid to Uber portion is $23.62, but the service fee is $24.88. The difference, $126. So the total of incentives. So what's going on? In other words, Uber is saying our expenses are a total of the paid to Uber total plus the incentives we were paid. So hopefully, I know this is, but let that sink in for a minute. So, in other words, Uber is saying our expenses are a total of the paid to Uber total plus the incentives we were paid. So what they are supposedly charging us back includes the total they paid us in incentives. The only other way that you can explain their expense calculation is that they simply subtracted what they paid us from what the customer paid to come up with the fee. In other words, Uber Eats and Uber too, by, doing the same thing. But I'm trying to base this around Uber Eats, is making up numbers to support a narrative. I know this sounds just crazy, but a few of us that deal with this a lot, talked about this at length yesterday, and really dug in. If you examine trip by trip, the service fee, there is no rhyme or reason for how it's calculated. It's not a straight percentage. In fact, it's all over the map. And we've talked about this on past podcasts, and they do use a formula to calculate delivery fees that has no relationship to what they charge customers. So if there's no relationship between the customer fee and what we're paid, if there's no formula or consistent percentage, it comes back to one thing: making up numbers to support a narrative. The accounting world has a technical term for that, which is really easy. It's called cooking the books, people. That's right. Why did I just lose? Hold on. I guess, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions on this. I'm going to put a link to the article that a person that I do podcasting with often, Ron Walter, wrote based on what we were looking at. So if this is super confusing to you, please click the link in the show notes and go to Ron's webpage and read his article that I will post the link in this show notes for. Read that article. And it is confusing, but after reading it, if you have any questions, come back to me and ask, or hit up Ron or whatever. We're all about this. We've talked about this on many podcasts, Ron and I. And we've talked about this in the past and how confusing it can be that you have to take things out, do things, and how you have to deal with these taxes, because a lot of people, let's just be understood here, a lot of people don't do this correctly. A lot of people don't know that you have to take, that you have to, it's a mess for for being an independent contractor like myself for so many years. Most companies just send me a 1099K. It's simple. There is my number, what I earn from them, and then I deal with it from there. But Uber makes this very overly complicated. And again, I'm not claiming that they are cooking the books, but I am telling you that I don't know another term for what they're doing, because it is cooking the books. I don't know how else to explain it. It's a way, we're still trying to find out the rationale here. But what I want you guys to do is go check out this article. I'm going to post it in the audio part right now, the audio stream. And then I will post it on, hopefully this YouTube video comes out, because I got one mic running to the audio stream. I got one mic running to Podbean, and I got the camera going for YouTube, a camera that I normally don't use on my phone. So anyway, this is what's going on. I will put the link in the show notes for everything. I'm going to do it right now in the audio cast. But for now, that's all. And I want you to go read this article. Go read this article. See if it makes sense to you. And Ron and I do a lot of pieces like this. So go check it out and see if it makes sense to you, because it's crazy. Okay, guys, that's it. Yeah, go out there and spin some good into this crazy world. And we will see you here tomorrow night on Rodeo Live. Enough is enough. We're throwing Instacart under the bus. I got Matt Tells and I got Celeste. And we're gonna talk about the grocery space. However, this is something that you need to know. If you work Uber Eats, read the article. If you have questions, hit me up, because we all need to be talking about this. It's kind of a big deal. So have a great day. Peace.